Hey guys, so my name's Tristan Godwin, and today I'm going to be going over my project of the blacksmithing in Old Washington. So my trip to Old Washington was exciting and fun and stuff. It was different because it was like when you stepped into Old Washington, it felt like you were stepping into like a period in time that was stuck in the 1830s era and like Civil War era. It was really neat. So what is blacksmithing? So blacksmithing is the art of heating and like reshaping pieces of metal into tools and like hammers and knives. This is my experience with the blacksmith forging an S-hook, which I actually got with me today. So blacksmithing in Old Washington, it was important for old towns like Washington. Blacksmithing helped farmers. Blacksmiths would build plows, and they would build the tools and repair like tools for all the farmers, and they would create hinges and nails for even carpenters to use, or really anybody who needed metal to work with. This is just the setup at Old Washington to replicate James Black's forge and all his tools and stuff. So who was James Black? So James Black, he was a blacksmith at Old Washington. He was most famously known for creating the Bowie knife for Jim Bowie. He was originally born in Pennsylvania, where he apprenticed with a silver plater. And up until he was 18, he was an apprentice to this guy. And he moved to Bayou Sara after that, Bayou Sara, Louisiana, and he opened his own blacksmith shop where he worked. And throughout the years, the weather and diseases got to his shop and to him, and he was just ready to move out. So he headed towards Fulton, Arkansas, near Old Washington. And that's where he met William Shaw, who helped him have a partnership in the blacksmithing at Old Washington and started him off there. So this is James Black on the right. So the creation of the Bowie knife. So they had Jim Bowie and James Black had previously met in Bayou Sara when Black was working there in his shop. And so Bowie came to James wanting a knife made specifically for himself. So James Black decided to start creating the Bowie knife, and he used, as you can see in this picture I took, these little silver glints in the knife handle itself is his skills from silver plating that he got in Pennsylvania. But the most memorable event that the Bowie knife was used in was the sandbar fight, and that's where Bowie helped a man named Samuel Levi Wells in a duel with Thomas Maddox. So the blacksmithing in Arkansas in the 1820s, 1830s, which was the time that James Black was thriving in Old Washington, it was a very crucial. So blacksmiths were almost crucial for the development of Arkansas cities in this time period. The local blacksmiths, they were looked upon as some of the most important people in the community because of their help with the farmers, help with anybody who needed metal work. Because you can't just, like with wood, you can repair like a wood door. Almost anybody back in that time could repair a wood door with nails or hammers. But they couldn't really repair metal because it would have to be specially heated and specially used. And that's what the blacksmiths specialized in. So the two notable blacksmiths from Arkansas around this time period, others than James Black, were like Henry Baughman, and he was located near Yaleville, Arkansas in the 1840s, and William S. Nell in Independence County, Arkansas, 1850s. So the blacksmithing in Arkansas compared to the rest of the nation, Arkansas was a really royally built state. Really, a lot of small towns and wild land, and there wasn't many big cities in Arkansas. So the blacksmiths were mainly focused on helping the royal farmers, helping the small town people, instead of big manufacturing businesses creating like cannons and stuff for the war. And that's what helped James Black and other blacksmiths in Arkansas thrive, where they were building plows for farmers, they were building knives for these people, instead of having to worry about the giant stresses and stuff of the big city blacksmiths, which I can get into. The larger cities were industrially based and created a wider opportunity for blacksmiths, but it was quite harder because of the more demand they had. And so my experience in Washington, we went there over spring break, and I thought it was the neatest place I've ever been. It was actually really cool. The court house they had there, the old courthouse, the old buildings and stuff, that was all really cool. And the blacksmith shop was really neat. Especially, I got to forge that S-hook that I showed, and like learn how to forge and learn how to quench and heat the metal and stuff. That was actually really awesome. And I actually got invited to a blacksmith club in Texarkana by the blacksmith there. I guess he saw something in me. But I have the pictures from my experience in the next couple slides. So this is me and the blacksmith. He had just heated we had just heated the metal, and he gave me the hammer to work and shape the metal and like bend it so it would make that S shape. And then this is me quenching the metal. So quenching the metal is right after it's hot and after you've shaped it, you have to put the metal in this bucket of water or solution to cool it down so you can handle it with your hands, or so it can strengthen and come back together. This is the same process. This is me hammering the metal into that S-hook shape. And then this is me actually forging and actually heating the metal with a crank. They had a crank that would open up a vent that would blow air into the fire and make it hotter, so it would forge the metal. And these are my sights. I hope everybody has a blessed rest of the year. I really enjoyed this project. I thought it was one of the coolest projects I've ever done. So thank you guys for listening to this.